The offensive woes for the St. Louis Cardinals show up in full force again on Wednesday as they lose another series finale. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X at JD Sports Radio, and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. The St. Louis Cardinals, once again, leave their bats at home on Wednesday in their series finale against the Tigers. Final score, 4-1. The Cardinals mustered just one run on 7 hits. That one run coming in the form of a solo home run from Willson Contreras. Got a picture of that for you. Here he is. Look how thrilled he is. If you're watching on YouTube, boy, doesn't he look thrilled to have just circled the bases. Anyway, Willson obviously had a brutal series if you weren't paying attention. Outside of that home run, the Motor City was not kind to the Cardinals catcher. He struck out 9 times. That's right, 9 times over 3 games. So not a great series for Willson Contreras. Not a great series for most of the Cardinals hitters. But what else is new, right? Once again, the pitching, not the problem here. Not the problem whatsoever. It wasn't the problem in Game 1 on Tuesday. In Game 2, you threw Steven Matz, who was apparently dealing with some lower back soreness, which is, that's the excuse as to why he wasn't any good again and why his velo was down. Makes sense, but aren't you tired of the excuses? But on Wednesday, you got another solid outing from your starter, Mikolas, who gives you another quality start. And I continue to get people who write in when I say, hey, quality start for Mikolas. And they're like, oh, he wasn't any good. That wasn't quality at all. All right. Class time. This is what a quality start is in Major League Baseball. If you throw 6 innings and you give up 3 runs or less, you get what we call a quality start. That is a statistic. That is not me just making things up. So it is a real thing. And Mikolas did that. Another quality start, something this front office targeted and strive for this offseason. And I know, we got to give Mo a little bit of credit. I know. It's not the popular thing to do, and I'm sure I'll catch y'all in the comments for it. But the pitching pieces that he went out and got and the ones that he kept have not really been the reason why this team can't get over the 500 mark, no matter how close they get to it. It was within their fingertips once again. And that was on Tuesday when Matz had his hiccup game. Giovanni Gallegos gets creamed. But then on Wednesday, Mikolas, 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, 6 hits, strikes out 4, doesn't walk anybody. A very Mikolas appearance. He does give up an ugly home run. He does that a lot. A very ugly home run, by the way, which was on a hanging curveball to CBC alum Matt Vierling. And it almost looked like an underhand toss to him, really. It came in at 72 miles per hour. And I know Miles does this from time to time where he'll throw a very slow, big bending curveball. And when he hits his spot or he gets it down in the zone and fools the guy, it looks hilarious. It looks beautiful, right? But when he doesn't and he hangs that sucker up in the zone like he did on Wednesday, it looks awful, like a slow pitch softball pitch, really, just screaming, crush me. And Vierling did just that. Did miss it. 2-run shot makes it 3-0 at the time. And it put this Cardinals offense, if that's what you want to call it, in a hole that it just wasn't able to climb out of. But after that point in the game, Mikolas was excellent. He was excellent. He retired the next 10 batters he faced, ends up giving the team 6 innings, gave them a chance to win. But for whatever reason, the bats just cannot seem to get going, specifically behind Miles Mikolas, but they just can't seem to get going in general. I don't know what the answers are to this. They made Tiger starter Kenta Maeda look like an all-star out there. He throws 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits. He whiffs 5. Was in command throughout the start. Contreras tagged him on that dinger, which was absolutely smoked, by the way. I do want to give Contreras credit there. Like, he crushed that one. 433 is how far it went. 110 miles per hour off the bat. He had good swings in this series. He just swung and missed a lot. But his hand looks healthier. It does look healthier to me. And after he hit that home run at that point in the ball game, it was 3-1. And there were some hints of offense sprinkled in as the Cardinals got a leadoff hit in each of the next 3 innings after the Wilson smash, but they hit into 2 double plays. They had another strikeout, caught stealing double play to erase any momentum that they had going for them. Like, just when you thought maybe they'd start to get the wheels turning some, and just it would get erased right away. They didn't get a runner past second base in this one outside of Contreras trotting around the bases on his home run. They were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They left 5 on. It was just one of those snooze fest type of games that have become all too familiar to close out a series. That loss on Wednesday drops them to 1-9 in the final game of the series. 1-9. According to Rob Raines at STLSportsPage.com, they've been outscored now 44-23 in those 10 games and were held to 3 runs or less 8 times. They're now just 2-5 in games that Miles Mikolas has started. 2 of those losses, just not very good starts by Miles. He'd admit that. But this one today and the one against, who was that one against? Who am I thinking of? Anyway, there was another one. Trust me, there was another one. Very winnable games that the offense just sucked. They just sucked. They don't get anything done. And it's like the bizarro world of 2023, which is very painful because last year they couldn't pitch. They couldn't play defense, but they had some offense, and they couldn't win the first game of a series to save their lives in 2023. Remember that? They would start every series that seemed like 0-1. Flip it to 2024. Now they've got pretty good pitching, excellent bullpen. They've got the defense. They've shined on the defensive side of things, but they can't hit worth a spit, and they can't win the final game of a series. They've done it once. Like, how weird is that? That everything is just flipped. And yet here we are still with a bad Cardinals team, even though they've corrected some stuff and then something else goes wrong, man. It's just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm sure you as a fan, you're frustrated. The team is frustrated. Everybody is. We're going to talk more about this sputtering offense. In particular, I want to point the finger to a certain spot in the order. We'll do that next on Locked On Cardinals. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for mom on DoorDash. Why not, right? Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets of flowers. Do you like to say bouquets or bouquets? I think it's bouquets is how most people pronounce it, but I've heard it both ways. Anyway, flowers. Moms love them, don't they? They've got the latest tech. Maybe your mom's a hip person. She's up to speed on all things technology. Maybe she would like that. You can go get gift cards, self-care treats, and a whole lot more to make her day all that much more special. You can use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order. That's up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flower bouquet, convenience grocery, or retail order right now at DoorDash. You can pair those flowers with a gift card. That way she can celebrate any way she wants. She can go out and get some snacks if that's what she wants with her flowers. She can go out and spend it on something for herself. Maybe you didn't know she wanted. Maybe she wants some slippers to wear around the house. Who knows? Plus, you get the convenience of shopping on your phone so you don't have to be one of those people that, and guys, I'm talking to you mostly here because women are usually on top of this stuff. Guys, we wait till the very last minute, and then we go scrambling in our cars trying to find some store that's open, and we're like, oh, let's go down here to this little mini mart and find something. And we start grabbing nonsense off the shelves. It's a terrible idea. Bad plan. So order now and get everything you need for Mother's Day on DoorDash. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flower, bouquet, convenience, grocery, or retail order right now on DoorDash. That's Locked On MLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. You can take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entry today. Get in on the playoff action going on in the NBA and the NHL. Win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's and hockey's postseasons, which are happening right now. They're in the middle of all of it, and it sure is a lot of fun to watch on both sides. If you're not a fan of regular season basketball, I'm telling you, NBA basketball in the playoffs is a totally different animal, and it's a lot of fun. Obviously, Stanley Cup playoffs, we know that's a lot of fun. My favorite aspect of PrizePicks is no matter what sport I choose, everything is quick, everything is simple. I can make those picks, submit my entries, and do it in less than 60 seconds. And when I win, I get paid real quick, too. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. That's what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So download that app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Do not miss out on your chance to cash in on your sports knowledge. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Are you watching Fox Sports on ESPN on your TV all day? Turn it down because it's too much shouting in your ear. Then make that switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all of the screaming. And it's streaming 24/7 on YouTube, or you can go into those free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. You can leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter X anytime you want. And remember, home series, Cardinals are coming home, so you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Cardinals. So we're now into the month of May. Today is May the 2nd now. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of the it's early talk. Tired of it. I'm exhausted by it. I'm tired of watching this team get used and abused at the plate. It's not early anymore. Guys, we are a month into the season. You had spring training on top of that. 2 months of no offense. Something needs to be done. And I'm certainly a person that likes to move lineups around. That's just the kind of manager I would have been if I was managing a team. I would not just sit back and let the same lineups. And I know Ali has moved things here and there, but I would be trying to find anything to get this team moving, spark something. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know when it's going to happen, but somebody needs to go on a run and lead this team before my head explodes. Every series, it seems like the opposition has got some dudes who just go off, and it's not always their best players, and they end up dominating a series and taking over, and the Cardinals, for whatever reason, have trouble getting them out, and they end up leading the way. Against the Tigers, you had Riley Green, 5 for 13, 2 home runs. Winsale Perez, 4 for 12, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. These are nice young players, don't get me wrong, but they're not household names. Not that there's any of those over on the Detroit Tigers in the first place, but they're not superstars, but they got hot. And they were part of the reason why the Cardinals lost games 2 and 3. On the Cardinals side of things, Paul Goldschmidt, 5 hits on Tuesday, 1 at the end of game 1, 4 in game 2. And I know Goldie has struggled, so it's nice to see him getting anything positive done at the plate. I truly hope he's about ready to break out because this team needs him, although 0-4 on Wednesday. But they need somebody. They need somebody to go on a heater and lead the way. We just haven't seen anything like that for this team in 2024. There hasn't been one guy that just goes crazy for like a 3 or 4 game stretch to help lead this team. It's like 1 or 2 games here and there, and then it's gone. Alec Burleson, game-tying RBI in game 1 on Tuesday, big homer in game 2, had another hit in Wednesday's game. Perhaps he's starting to kind of break out as he gets more playing time. Maybe he's going to help be that person to chisel the Cardinals out of this early season blizzard that has the Cardinals bats all frozen like a bag of popsicles. Like, it's brutal. Nolan Arenado, he hits the ball on the button in his first 2 at-bats, and they happen to go right at people. Does that mean he's on the verge of going on a tear? Like, he's gotten better and better and better, but he hasn't gone on a tear yet. Nobody has. Somebody's got to do something. The month of April was going to be a tough month. We knew that. But you got to admit, if the Cardinals had any sort of offense whatsoever, they probably finished the month of April over the 500 mark. And if that happened, we're all singing a very different tune about how we feel about this team. But instead, it's kind of the same vibes that we felt in 2023, just for different reasons. We went over all the stats leading into the Detroit series about how bad this offense has been. I don't think we need a refresher course on that because not much has changed. Plus, I don't want to go through the ugly numbers again. They're gross. Just trust me, they're gross. The Tigers pitching has been surprisingly good this year. The fact that the Cardinals even won a game despite scoring 8 total runs in 3 games is a miracle in itself. They very easily could have and probably should have been swept in this series, but they were able to come back and steal game 1. And for me, when it comes to lineups, it all starts at the top of the order. If you have that person who's the table setter at the top of an order, then it kind of gets things going, right? It's smart to have a really good leadoff hitter, somebody who gets on base a lot, no matter how they do it, gets on base. Brendan Donovan, God love him, is hitting .222 this year. You can get mad at the meat of the order and bitch and complain about Goldie, Nato, Gorman, Nootbaar, whoever you want to, because I'm not putting all of the blame on Brendan Donovan. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just pointing something out. If we look at leadoff hitters this year with 40 or more at bats and the leadoff position, so roughly about 10 games that they've been the leadoff hitter, Donovan ranks 20th in batting average. But it's not all about batting average, right? Well, if he's getting on base, that's good too, yeah? Well, let's do the same thing with the on-base percentage. Brendan Donovan, if we go with 40 or more at-bats from the leadoff position, is 19th in the league in on-base percentage. So not only is he not hitting to get on base, not walking to get on all that much either. Since coming to the big leagues in 2022, Brendan Donovan has seen his on-base percentage drop from 394 to 364, and now he's at 309. That is just not going to get it done. Now the question is, again, we can complain about this, but who do you put in there that's actually going to do a good job? Normally, my first name into my head would be Lars Nootbaar. Normally, Lars Nootbaar is a very similar hitter to what Brendan Donovan does, where he's got a very good eye. He extends at bats. He's not one of those I swing at the first pitch type of guys. Although Brendan Donovan, I don't know what the stats are, but it feels like he's been doing that a lot. But Lars Nootbaar, since getting activated from the injured list, has not been any good either. Lars Nootbaar is batting a robust 185 with a 293 on-base percentage. So what does that mean? That means you can't use him at the top of the order because he stinks too. And this is the guy that Ali recently has had in the number 3 hole. Like, supposedly your most dangerous hitter is supposed to be in the number 3 hole. We got a dude hitting 185. The next guy that people will want there is Masyn Winn. Masyn Winn makes a lot of sense. He's looked very good at the plate so far this year. You know that. I know that. One of the few hitters that's actually getting on base a lot and hitting over 300. Got a lot of speed. You've seen him run. Kind of dangerous over there if he gets on base, and makes that pitcher, makes that catcher think about other things other than throwing to people like Contreras and Goldie and Nato and all the rest of the guys behind him. He's the only person with a higher on base percentage than Mason Wynn this year, like an everyday player, is Wilson Contreras. 373. Mason Wynn's at 368. Why is he at the bottom of the order all the time? Because he's a rookie? So what? He's producing. Let's put him up there before he gets more at bats and gets a chance to produce even more. Interesting idea, right? I just feel like things got to get shuffled up. And again, I've seen Ollie make some moves. He's moving Goldie down. He's moving Wilson up. I see him shuffling things, but I don't understand why none of it's working. None of it. It's not like he's moved Goldie down and all of a sudden we're scoring runs at an amazing pace. No, you just scored 8 runs in 3 days. So I'm just on board with shuffling things up a little bit. At this point, why not? It can't hurt anything. The offense is already in the toilet. They're not going to get worse. But I guess they could get shut out every time. And if that happens, then you move everybody around again. But why not give Mason Wynn a series to see if he can light a fire at the top of the order under this offense? And you get to do it against the Chicago White Sox team that is not very good. So I'm going to spitball here, and I'm going to show up a graphic up on the YouTube page here. So this is what I'm thinking. Again, just coming up with ideas. Mason Wynn leads off. Brendan Donovan bats second. Again, Brendan Donovan can be a tough out. I like his approach at the plate most of the time. He's just not getting it done there. But he's not a guy that strikes out a whole lot. So if Mason Wynn is able to get on, at least Donnie is one of those guys that I trust to do the right thing and get the runner over. If he is on second base, gets a single or a walk and then steals second, I trust Brendan Donovan to move him over and hit it to the right side of the infield. That's something I definitely do. In an ideal world where people are hitting the way they're supposed to, then you could go something like this. Wilson Contreras, who's been your best hitter pretty much. You got him in the number 3 hole, not Lars Nootbaar hitting 185. You would have Nolan Arenado back cleanup. Nolan Gorman, who has been a shell of a man for most of the season, because you'd want to go, the righty-lefty stuff. So you'd have Gorman come in, then Goldie, then Nootbaar, then Ivan Herrera. They want to get both of Herrera and Contreras' bat in the lineup as much as possible. And then Alec Burleson at the bottom of your order. So you got right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Kind of fills all the gaps that you're wanting to do as far as going righty-lefty. That way, things are a little bit tougher on the opposing manager later in games. This is where switch hitters like Edman and Carlson would be quite useful, because they can do either side, although both of them kind of stink at hitting as a left-handed batter. I'm sure there's other ways to move things around as people go through their highs and lows throughout the season. But like I said, we're looking for anything to get stuff going at this point. So what do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts on the lineup and how you'd write it in if you were Ollie. Do that in the comments down below, or you can blow me up on Twitter, X, at @LO_Cardinals. We're going to talk a little bit about Steven Matz and Dylan Carlson. Just brought him up. We'll talk about those guys coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. All right, time out. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go, because I'm not going to sit here and just let fun pass you by. There is just so much good stuff in this game, and you need to know about it. Because if you're not playing Monopoly Go yet, you're missing out on good times, fun times, entertaining times. You can play while you're watching the Cardinals. When they're up at the plate doing nothing, you could be playing Monopoly Go and just listen to the broadcast or the telecast in the background. You can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's a whole lot of stuff to get to. Unique stickers. You can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. They've got hilarious emojis for taunting your friends, which is always nice. Talking smack is good. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton of their own unique mini games like digging for treasure, or you got the robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench, go download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. It's now also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. You can find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. All right, so after Steven Matz's not so great performance on Tuesday, the Cardinals revealed that he's dealing with lower back soreness, and it's bothering him enough that he is supposed to get an MRI today on Thursday. May the 2nd. That's where we are right now. Have not seen an update about it yet. Don't know anything. If it breaks, I'm sure I'll post it up on Twitter X. I'll have that out there for you. But if Matz were to remain in turn for the rotation, he's supposed to pitch on Sunday against the White Sox. But because of the circumstances that the Cardinals aren't sure what's going to happen yet, they don't have a starter listed. If he's unavailable, which if things go the way they normally do for Steven Matz, he probably will be unavailable, at least for one start. I got no issues with that. If you want to give him a start off and let the back relax a little bit, I'm cool with that. I really am, because there's no point in sticking him out there if he's going to pitch like he did on Tuesday. Like, why would you do that? Why set him up to fail? Like, that's not smart. So, do you bring up Zach Thompson or maybe an Andre Palante? They've been stretching both of them out at Memphis. They both pitched in the Redbirds, talking about the Memphis Redbirds, 10-1 win on Saturday, the 27th. So they should be fresh and ready to go. A lot of fans are starting to ask about Sim Robertson, who was 3-0 with a 1.82 ERA at Memphis so far this year. I would really be surprised if the Cardinals turn to him already. Remember, he's only 22 years old. This is his first taste of AAA. He was at AA last year. It just does not feel like a Cardinal move to grab him already for a spot start. That just doesn't seem like something that the Cardinals would do. People have been asking about Tink Kentz, who's also been very, very good so far this year. He's still a AA, guys. He's not even at Memphis yet. So that's not something that's going to happen either. They're going to take their time with Tink Kentz. So Sunday could just be like a bullpen day or something. The Cardinals have the off day on Thursday, which is today, to kind of think it over, decide what they want to do with the White Sox coming into town over the weekend. So, again, if something gets posted, I'll put it up there for you. Dylan Carlson, by the way, in center field on Wednesday for Memphis. He DH'd his first rehab game back from that shoulder injury that he suffered in spring training. He went hitless in 3 at-bats on Wednesday. I'm not saying that Dylan Carlson's supposed to be the savior or something, because his track record the last couple of years, he hasn't been all that good. But, man, would it be nice to have him back and swinging the bat the way he was in spring training before he got hurt. That would be nice. That would be something that would put a little juice back into this lineup. Probably wishful thinking. I admit that, but it would be nice. Cardinals finished their road trip at 3-3, which, when you look at it, you're like, well, I guess 3-3. You'll take that on a road trip. They're 14-17 overall, which still has them percentage points ahead of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So everybody making fun of me for saying, well, the Cardinals aren't in last place anymore. They're still not in last place. So shut your pie hole. Pirates have lost 4 in a row. So we're glad that they're struggling right now. That's the only reason why the Cardinals are actually not in last place in the NL Central. So again, thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Let me know what you think about lineup changes. What do you think about Mason Wynn going into the top spot? Is that something you would do? Do you think I'm a fool for thinking these things? All of it's great. Let me hear that feedback. And if you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter, at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and help our love and channel grow for the Cardinals. Obviously, love for, everything. But let's be honest. We're talking about our love for the Cardinals. So let's get it going. Chicago White Sox in town this weekend. They're not good. Got to take 2 of 3, preferably a sweep. Got to take 2 of 3. So Thursday, the day off. Enjoy it. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.